Hey guys, so it has been 1 year since I upgraded from my Oculus CV1 to the Oculus Rift S. Now, in one big aspect, the CV1 was actually better than the Rift S, and that is with the audio. If you're going to be picking up a Rift S, it does technically have built-in audio, but that's in the form of speakers which are kind of firing into your ear. If you're going to be playing really anything with music like Beat Saber, any more serious game like Half-Life Alyx, you are doing yourself a huge disservice by not using a pair of headphones. The immersion difference is gigantic. You can read up on all of the marketing that I'm sure Oculus has put with the audio, but I can tell you that it's just no comparison between that and a good pair of headphones. Now for me, I've tried a few different things, but I keep coming back to this setup. And this is just a pair of headphones that I have that happen to match the aesthetic of the Rift S quite well. But as you can see, it is still pretty janky, even though the cables are technically cable managed, so they don't get in the way. And one of the reasons that I keep on sticking with this, despite me having tried stuff like earbuds, is that this is really nice because I can more or less still put it on all at once like I did with the CV1, which is one of my favorite things about that, is that everything was just very simple. You just put it on, you're done. No need to worry about putting in some earbuds or something. Whereas this, I can still mostly do it. I guess I'll try to do it here just to make sure I'm not going crazy. All right, so you can, not as smoothly as you could with the CV1, but you can indeed kind of put this all at once and you're ready to go. I'll get this off right here for a second. All right, now please, that is the biggest, if you're any takeaway from this video, please just get headphones if you're gonna get this. Okay, on to one of the other more concerning things that I had, at least in my original reviews, was the tracking. Now, it was surprisingly good for inside-out tracking from the get-go, but I did report on some games where you have two-handed weapons. If you put them up close to your eyes, or I guess in this case, close to your headset, it would kind of look like it was drifting more or less like this slightly, and it just felt wrong. But they have definitely been updating whatever it is, the firmware on the headset. I don't know if they've really done anything with the controllers, probably, but it is way better. I cannot remember the last time I had some sort of weird tracking bug with the Rift S. Now, the one thing that you are going to have to keep in mind is that in order for this to have good tracking, you're going to need light. Unlike any outside-in tracking like the original CV1 or the Steam VR headsets, this relies on visible light. So you're going to need to have some lights. I usually have this on and a few other things here and there. They don't need to be at full blast. As long as you can see comfortably, the headset will probably also be able to see. Which, one of the things that might happen from time to time, depending on, you know, if you're playing this during the day when you don't usually, I guess the only other quirk is that sometimes it'll look like or act like it doesn't remember your setup. The good thing is that the setup process for a new Guardian setup is so simple compared to any of the stuff before. You just more or less just point this at the floor, hit the trigger, and then you just draw a perimeter while you have the headset on, and that's it, you're done. No weird dealing with the computer itself. That was such a pain in the ass with the original CV1. This is just leagues beyond that. It's so simple. So even if it does have that quirk where it kind of forgets your setup if the lighting is a little bit different, it's so easy to overcome that I don't really consider it that big a deal. Okay, now, one of the other things is comfort. Now, I think I reported from the get-go that this headset was actually pretty comfortable for me. I think I've read in some places where some people say that it hasn't been for them, but I have played probably maybe 4 or 5 2-hour sessions of Half-Life Alyx with no complaints. The only reason I stopped playing on any of those sessions is because my feet were tired, or maybe it was my headphones and around my ears were getting a little irritated. But that's it. The actual headset itself, I could play for a lot longer if it wasn't for those two things. So if you're worried about comfort, I wouldn't be. I think most people find this to be superior to the original, but if you can give it a try somewhere, do, and see just how it fits on your head. I know that some stuff doesn't quite fit correctly for me. I think I had more issues with the CV1 though. I know with this, for the most part, I can put it on, tighten it up, and have it stay pretty level unless I'm doing any like weird motions where I'm like constantly like, you know, doing this and looking up and down, which would cause it to shift slightly. That's very rare, but if I have it, if I set it correctly to begin with, I can be pretty sure that it's going to stay on that sweet spot on the lenses for my entire play session. Okay, there's one other thing. Okay, yeah, of course, the reason I was holding these things the entire time. Now, the battery life of these, I use rechargeable batteries just because I don't want to go through a bunch. These run on AA's, which if you're coming from something like the Vive or the original Vive, I don't know if they revised it on the other ones, those I think you had to recharge the controllers themselves. I see this as maybe a pro. Yeah, I think it would be a pro. Although that is debatable. These run on AA batteries, so you just slide this off and you can just kind of open this up, pick out the battery. This would be a lot easier if I had nails, but I keep a bunch of these rechargeables ready to go, so if in the case I get these, or I get the message that these are low on battery, I can easily swap them out. And thanks to one of the features that the actual headset has, where, you know, it has cameras built in, so you can see the outside world if you enable it while you have the headset on. I can, you know, reset the batteries or put new ones in here without even taking my headset off, which is really cool. Okay. That's about it for the most part. Now, I'm pretty happy to report that I really have had no issues with the Rift S since my last video on it about a year ago. Would I have enjoyed the Valve Index? Of course, but keep in mind that that's over twice the price of all this setup. So if you have the money to spend on something like that, I would probably do it. But at the time of purchasing this, I really couldn't justify it. Maybe nowadays, but now that I have this, I don't know that I want to jump into a different platform, even though I have a lot of games on Steam VR. I don't know that I want to make the transition just because, well, first of all, it's a lot of money, and then second of all, it's really nice that I don't need sensors for this, whereas with the Index, you still need the outside-in tracking, and I don't know that I could get away with that without somebody complaining about weird boxes kind of lying around. So that's one of the things that's really nice about this. TLDR, audio, bad, get headphones. Tracking, surprisingly good. Comfort, again, surprisingly good, no complaints there. Battery life on these is pretty solid with rechargeables. I'm sure if you use non-rechargeables, you'd probably get even more. But for me, I think I have to swap this out maybe every third or fourth session. So it lasts a pretty good bit. Anyway, so again, audio bad, tracking good, comfort good, battery life of the controllers, pretty solid. If you have any other questions about this or any of the VR stuff, please leave a comment down below. Feel free to follow me on my socials. Anything else, just let me know. You guys have a good day. See ya.